Hey there, what's going on? Megan here of meganhumans.com. I am a life coach and human design guide, and hey, that is what we are talking about today. So today's video is breaking down what is this human design thing. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've stumbled on this video looking for a definition of what it really is, maybe you've started a journey with human design, maybe you're just here and just showing up and just curious. So we're going to talk about what it is, where it came from, and is it legit? So let's start with what it is. On a basic level, human design is the science of differentiation. So what does that even mean? Well, basically it means it's the study of how every single human being operates differently on this planet. That was enough to nudge me towards it because I was like, yes, that is true. Every human being on this planet does operate differently. And if there's one thing I learned again and again operating my coaching business over the past 4 years that I've been doing that, is that so many people came to me, and the reason they were stuck, whether it was stuck trying to figure out what career path they wanted to take next, or stuck trying to build their business and take it to the next level, no matter what it was, the same problem I kept seeing popping up again and again and again and again was that they were trying to live by a story that wasn't working for them, or they were trying to fit into a formula that wasn't working for them. So we see this play out as people choose their career path through going to school, getting the college degree, checking off all the boxes that you're quote unquote supposed to do. And then you get your career in this path that you walked and you walked and you walked, and you're like, this is it? Like, cue the cricket noises. You're like, this doesn't feel fulfilling. This doesn't feel like my purpose. And you start to question those things. Well, you walked this path and you checked all these boxes that, well, society said you should, and maybe that wasn't the path you were meant to take. Or maybe you're operating a business right now and you're trying to grow it and you're trying to scale it and take it to the next level or make it full time, and you're trying to do all the things that you've heard from self-proclaimed online guru, and it's not working for you. Maybe that's because it wasn't meant to work for you. It's not following the way you're meant to operate. And so human design gives you permission to operate fully as you. And it's literally, in my experience with the sessions that I've done, it's like a permission slip. Oftentimes, I'm not giving you brand new information. Oftentimes, the information feels like something you've known your entire life, and to be recognized for that information feels like a breath of fresh air. Okay, so how do I get said information? So the human design system takes a bunch of different tools that you've probably heard of before, like astrology, the chakra system, the ancient I Ching, the Kabbalah, and it puts it all into one understanding, what's called a body graph, and it basically tells you all this information of how you operate, how you best should kind of dance with life, how the way for you to make decisions with the least amount of resistance, the way your energy flows, the way your purpose is meant to unfold. It's not going to pop out an answer like, you should be a doctor, like those good old career aptitude tests that I took about 1 billion of through my university days. It's not going to pop out an answer like that. It's going to tell you, here's how you can move with life. And if you follow this path, if you follow this kind of, it's like your GPS is being set. And if you follow that, then answers will start to unfold, which is my favorite way to live, to just live in surrender and know that you're being fully you. I think that the most important thing we can do in this life is to live fully and radically as ourselves. And that's exactly what human design gives you permission slip to do. So it never changes because it's based on your birthday, time, and location. So it's never going to change as you get older, as you get in new relationships, which is something that I kept running into I'm a certified life coach, so I'm obviously obsessed with those personal development tools and tests and quizzes, and I've taken them all. And something I kept noticing is my answers would change. My answers would change as I changed and grew. And something I noticed with my own clients, if I would give them those tests and tools to use, if they would take it at the beginning of our series and then the end of our series, their results would be different, which is so fascinating to me because we take those quizzes how we perceive ourselves to be. And the same can be said too, if you take the quiz and then maybe someone really close to you takes the quiz about you, you might get different results because you have a conscious and an unconscious personality. And human design actually tells you these things, the conscious and the unconscious side. And that felt like such a breath of fresh air to me personally, because I'm this, and I think we all are, massive vessels of contrast. And I would do these quizzes and tests, and one thing would tell me, you're, introverted, you're meant to, kind of do your own thing. And then the other thing would say, oh, you're really meant to have the spotlight. And I'm like, how do I use this together? And human design really puts it together in this really beautiful flow and this really beautiful way of being. So that's kind of what it is. It kind of takes you from living in this really conditioned, homogenized way of living back into your individuality and how you are uniquely built and how you are uniquely made to be you. So that's kind of what it is, where it kind of came from, where it kind of derived from. So let's talk about, is it legit? Well, I think that depends on what your definition for is it legit is. What are you really looking for by asking that question? What is the answer that you want to hear from that question? Because I think if you're trying to make it a belief system, if you're trying to make it just another label, I don't think that's what the purpose of it is or was meant to be. Human design isn't a belief system. It's not the only way of being. It's not a label. I tell everyone I've done sessions with thus far and will continue to do, I always start the session by saying, this is not meant to be a label. This is not meant to be a belief system. If something doesn't feel right for you, stop and let's reframe it and let's dig into that. Why doesn't it feel right? And we can take the pieces we like and leave the pieces we don't. I think human design has always been meant to empower you, but I think as humans, we so desperately want to grasp onto certainty. And the funny thing that happens, not even just in human design, but I think in self-development work in general, is I think people so often start this path of self-development or start the path of, finding out their human design for freedom. That's the goal. They want freedom to live as themselves. They want freedom to live fully as you are uniquely built. And then all of a sudden you start putting rules on the things that were meant to liberate you. And so asking, is human design legit? I return the question of what are you looking for by asking that? What kind of certainty are you seeking in it? Because yes, it's legit. It is a system that has been built and created and tried and tested, and I've seen incredible breakthroughs within my own clients. So yes, it is legitimately a system that's been created, but what's the answer you're looking for in that? What are you trying to grip onto within that? I think with everything that I do, with everything that I study, with everything that I put out into the world, my number one goal is always empowerment. I certainly never want you to leave without the tools to use what you've learned moving forward. And I think that's something I just want everyone to bring through in anything they're doing in this world at all. But I think for you to remember as you're discovering and leaning into your human design, continue to feel empowered with it. It's never meant to restrict you. And I think we always have space to reframe things. If it feels like it's locking you into a box, loosen it up, take off the lid. How could you rewrite it? How could you reframe that part so that you feel fully empowered to use it? And then finally, I just would say, do your own research. If you're feeling skeptical about it, the first part of human design is completely free. I'll put the link below this video where you can look up your own chart. The first part of it is completely free. You can look it up. You can lean into it a little bit and see what you think. See how it rings for you. But also remember, within human design, there's 2 billion different configurations. So those first things that you see, they are a part of it. They are a small part of it. And I think so often what happens, what I've heard, and actually what I did myself, is you find the one piece of your human design. You're like, oh, I don't know if that's so true for me. I don't know about it. And then you leave it. But the more and more layers you uncover, And the deeper you go into it, the more the puzzle and the full picture of it all starts to make sense. So I encourage you, as you do look up your own design and as you do lean into those kind of bits and pieces that you can find and put together, remember to stay open and remember there's more. There's more than just the type. There's more than just the authority. Those are the first two things you'll probably see and the first two things you'll probably look up within your human design. But you're so much more than that, and those two things are not the only things that define you. There's so many more aspects going on. So as you lean in closer and closer, and you do your own research, and then if you ultimately decide to work with someone on a session or getting your chart read as a blueprint or anything like that, just do your research. See what's the approach that they take. I shared with you my approach is always going to be empowerment. I always want you to feel like you leave with the tools that are going to feel really good for you to use. So do your research into the person that you are doing that session with. What is their approach? How are they showing up in this world? And make sure you feel really good going into that partnership, because this is something that's meant to liberate you, give you freedom as you tap back into being radically fully you. And so I want you to feel that in the entire experience of doing the research or of working with someone to learn about your human design more. So I hope this gave you some clarity over what human design is and if you should take the next steps into learning all about it. I will be making so many more videos on human design coming up. I'd love to hear in the comments, is there a certain topic you want me to dive into? Is there a certain thing you've been dying to know and haven't been able to find? Let me know in the comments and I will make a video just for you. And if you're new, stick around a little bit, hit subscribe. I post videos every single week. And I will be seeing you all very soon. Bye.